everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I'm really excited to show you Dragon Eclipse today. This is an upcoming one from Awaken Realms. And as always, we accept no compensation for our crowdfunding coverage. We just want to help you make an informed decision. I'll be doing a solo playthrough of the initial chapter of the game, showing you a bit of combat, a bit of exploration, and at the end I'll have my impressions on the game system so far. And if you like the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also watch our separate streaming channel for even more content, listen to our weekly podcast, or join the conversation on our Discord. So Dragon Eclipse is similar to an IP you might have heard of, with catching them all as one of its main ideas, in that you'll be going around and adventuring on these maps, having different story-based encounters, but you'll also be getting these pets like the Emberling that I'm starting with here, and you'll be engaging in arena combat against other creatures, like this Windraiser you'll see in a second once I get there in the story, and you'll have the chance to capture them and add them to your crew, and there's a little bit of deck construction and deck building as you level up your deck. We'll see all of that, but let's just jump right into the story and see what's going on in this world. Cairburg. You've always loved this city, perched atop a barren hill from which you can admire a scenic vista of old forests, winding merchant roads, and low rocky hills. Then you look at all those wind turbines connected to the water pumps and forges. You love the sounds they make a little less, but they make you proud, so you forgive all the noise. You are one of the few people responsible for making sure all this works properly. There are engineers who supervise the steel and brass, and there are tamers, like you, people who train and care for the creatures that support the whole structure. You check on one of the creatures that controls the airflow through windmills and turbines, the Windraiser. It's a timid creature possessing tremendous power, and utters a pleasant sound when it sees you. Tomorrow you will train and play with it, as well as several other creatures. But today, both you and it have work to do. You spend some time with the Windraiser, showing it how to use its powers more efficiently, and give the creature a little treat. Soon the wind flowing through the city accelerates, and the turbines spin a little faster. Okay, we have a bit of setup here, just kind of getting things correct. This is very much a tutorial, so it's going to kind of teach the game as we go, but I'll skip through a lot of that and just explain things as needed. And here's a pretty picture of Cairburg, nice town. After you make sure the Windraiser is fine, your long day of work is finished. Today has been somewhat stressful as you, along with a few other Cairburg tamers, have been checking on all the creatures in the city. In the end, everything is in order and you can relax. You head toward the Shaded Tavern, a place that serves the best stew in the area. And today, to add to the charm, a storyteller is giving a performance. When you enter, you are enveloped by the wonderful smell of herbs. The storyteller, Ida, if you remember correctly, is finishing a love story. I have 2 more tales for you, my dear folks. I can elevate you to the sky realm of the Dragon Guardians, the mighty beasts of old who watch over our world, or I can enshroud you in the darkness of the eclipse, the dreadful event from the past that left our civilization in ruin. Tell us more about the eclipse. I guess I'm the only one who decides what the storyteller talks about. Ida begins the story. The eclipse. You've probably seen an eclipse or two in your life, when one of the moons obscures the sun for several minutes. But there was a moment when both moons aligned between the sun and our world, casting a pitch-black shadow so deep that the seas felt lost and strayed over the lands, destroying our great cities and culture. We humans suddenly found ourselves on the brink of extinction. If it were not for our tamers, their amazing creatures, and the Dragon Guardians, we wouldn't be here today. And when it comes to the Guardians... A sudden tremor interrupts the story. Ida freezes with her mouth agape, visibly confused. You're also quite shocked. You've never experienced such a strong quake. You're gathering your thoughts when the door bursts open and a man enters the tavern. The creatures! He manages and catches his breath. They all went mad! They lashed out at the machines and all the people around. The main turbine is in danger! You recognize the man as one of the engineers responsible for maintenance. He knows what he's talking about, and the problem seems serious. If something happens to the creature or the machine, Cairburg's functions could be disabled for months. The man spots you. Oh, Tamer, what bliss you're here. Come, you must help me. If the Windraiser is actually attacking people who try to approach it, you won't be able to do anything without a creature to aid you. Fortunately, your creature companion rests inside the room you rented in the tavern. You tell the man you'll be right back and run toward the room, chased by his baffled shouts. You open the door to the room, and what do I see? I can get an Emberling, a fire lizard, or an Iceling, an ice reptile. Man, do I want Charmander or Squirtle, everybody? Let's go with the Emberling. The fire lizard jumps into your arms, expecting a treat. Alright, so here I'm going to set up a few things. Let me just show you what it all comes down to. First of all, I've got the Emberling himself with some stats. We'll see what those mean in combat in a moment. I've got his special ability, Fire Nova, pretty tough. And in the full game, each pet you get has a side quest you can complete. Sibling's Duty. Carry the egg to the place of the Emberling's origin where the creature can finally fulfill its duty. So I don't have that in the demo, but pretty neat. And then extra fun, again, everything's a prototype, of course, but you get to slot in some info on the creatures you have encountered. Emberlings always lay 2 eggs. When the first egg hatches, the mother leaves the nest, and from then, it's up to the oldest Emberling to care for its sibling. Fiery and energetic, from the moment it takes its first breath, it tends to the egg with surprising gentleness. And there will be standees in the game, but also miniatures. They're looking pretty great. There's the Emberling's little sibling is trying to protect, and it is firing it up. Your companion and you run from the tavern, following the trembling engineer. He is, in fact, leading you toward the same wind razor you tended to not even an hour ago. You can immediately tell that the creature is terrified and panicking. It treats everyone as a threat, so it fights back, attacking approaching humans and even moving machine parts. You need to get close to the wind razor to calm it down, but that won't be possible without wearing it down first. You order the elemental lizard to carefully step forward with a tactic in mind. Okay, everyone, now we go into combat setup, so I'm going to actually explain some mechanical stuff here. So first we have our Emberlings set up, including an element matching his element, which is fire, which is going to give us access to some bonus actions using tokens we'll be earning throughout the game. But basic stats, number of spaces the Emberling can move, number of damage they deal with a regular attack, number of damage they can take, and at least in the current rules, it says you exceed the damage, not equal it, so 14 damage wouldn't defeat him, but 15 would, and automatic defense subtracted from each attack, which is 0 for the Emberling. And then we have 10 cards in a starter deck. We're going to shuffle these. There is deck construction in the game, so later on I'll be able to fine-tune my Emberling's deck, but for now I just shuffle it up. And I'm going to deal out the first 4 cards into these action slots here. And this is a little bit like Civilization New Dawn or Arc Nova. In that, cards will be sliding to the right, like as you use one card, all the rest will slide over. And you get better bonuses the longer you wait to use a card. You're getting these tokens up here at the top of it, and that's going to allow you to activate your bonus actions and your special abilities by building up these little symbols. The enemy also gets set up, so this is the Frightened Wind Razor. They're a wind creature, 18 life, 2 attack value, 3 movement, also no defense. And enemies have little symbols like these that correspond to their activations, because we're going to use a generic enemy activation deck. So this one will sometimes do an attack. If it doesn't have a range, it's just adjacent. It'll rush forward, trying to get close to me and attack with that symbol. Or it'll deal damage to anyone next to a tornado, because each creature has a different special setup. And in this case, on all the exclamation points on the arena, we're going to start with little tornado symbols. I'll show that in a second. And they also have a special ability, which will resolve after several turns pass. It's kind of like us, they've got a track. We shuffle up some cards. In this case, it's a mix of those symbols I already showed you. And you can always see what the next action is going to be. So they'll do this, and then they'll go and put it face down on their first discard pile. On their next turn, they'll do the new top thing and do what they're going to do. But in this case, the Wind Razor, it told me to put the little special ability token on the third space. So after they resolve their third turn, they're going to discard all of these and then resolve their special ability, which in the Wind Razor's case means they're going to teleport Blink to the space with the tornado that's farthest from us. So they tend to retreat quite a bit. So we got to do at least 19 damage before they can do 15 damage. There is unfortunately no taming option for this one, although most of the time there will be. And here's the arena. I'm starting on the Roman numeral 1 space. They're starting on the 2 space. You'll see that there are 3 exclamation point spots where we're putting wind. There's also spots with like little skulls and crossbones and little like bags, but those are not used in this first fight. And the arena will sometimes have special rules. This one says if the enemy deck is empty, we're going to go read script 73, but otherwise we're just going to play until one of us loses the fight. So I take the first turn, and let's see my options. So first on the left, it'll get me 1 elemental marker, which again is used to pay for bonus actions, is Lava Lash. Deal 3 damage, that's the red cubes, in range 3. And then I can discard 2 elemental tokens to resolve another card. That's great once I have some. Defensive stance, I gain 1 elemental token in addition to the 2 that are for its slot. And then I have a passive +2 bonus to defense. Passive means that it continues to apply as long as it's the top card of my discard, which will generally just mean for a single enemy activation. Okay, focus, move, and then I can discard another card, just like kind of clear up its slot to fill more. Finally, Flame Burst. Deal 2 to each opponent in range 2. Deal an additional 2 for each 4 elemental tokens I have. And you do gain the markers for the slot you chose before you resolve the card. So like if I already had 1 and then gained 3 more, I would get the bonus for that. All right, just one more thing to show before we jump in. What are my bonus actions? You can only do each of these once per turn, so I couldn't like pay to move multiple times in a single round. But you can do them before or after your card. So I could like pay 1 elemental marker to move, then resolve my card, then pay 4 to attack, etc. So for 1, I can move. For 1, I can discard a card from a slot and then draw, filling always from the left. And for 4, I can do an attack, which is just going to deal my 5 damage, but I have to be adjacent. Then my special ability, Fire Nova, deals 7 damage, and deal ignores defense, as opposed to like a regular attack. Deals 7 to each opponent in range 3. And yes, in later fights, there will be like multiple creatures on the board, but right now it's just me and the Windraiser. I should probably also check what the Windraiser is about to do. So they're going to rush toward me and attack for 2 damage. So in that case, no need to hurry. I'm going to choose Defensive Stance, which will get me 2 elemental markers. And then I'll gain a 3rd, and I'll have +2 defense for this turn. Sits on top of my discard pile. And again, everything fills from the left, so this card goes there, and I'm going to redraw a double strike. That sounds pretty darn good. Okay, now the Windraiser resolves its card, so it's going to rush, moving up to 3 hexes and trying to get as close to me using as little movement as possible, but I decide on ties if like there's 2 spaces that fulfill all of that. And then it's going to attack. So we'll go ahead and flip that over. We can see they're going to do the exact same thing again next turn. So this or this will both get them adjacent in 1 space, so I can pick. I'd love to get away from the wind since they can like hit me if I'm too close to it with some of their cards. So I'm going to put them here, and then like if I move, I can run to this corner or something. And they're hitting me for 2 damage, but my defensive stance cancels that entirely. You got nothing, Windraiser. All right, first turn was wind up. Let's go ahead and deliver the real pitch now. Starting with a Lava Lash. Let's get 2 more elemental markers. And I'm dealing 3 damage within range 3, and I can discard 2 to resolve another card, which I will do. But first, let's deal the damage. So that's 3 out of 18, although again, I have to exceed it, so I need 19. I'm going to spend 2 of my 5 so far to resolve another card. And the rules didn't make this 100% clear, but I don't think you draw yet. I think you draw at the end of the round. So I think for right now, these cards all retain their values. I could do the double strike, but I think that'll be my coup de grace next turn. So let's do the Flame Burst, getting me 3 more tokens, up to 6. So I'm going to deal 2 to each opponent in range 2, an additional 2 for each 4 elemental tokens I have, which in this case is 6. So I'm going to do 4 more damage. That's 7 out of 18. The purples are 5. Sorry, Windraiser. And hey, let's do a basic attack for 4 more, leaving me with 2, which will deal another 5 straight up. So they're at 12 out of 18. And then focus and double strike, slide down. We've got Flaming Bite, a move, and then an attack that ignores defense, and Leap, just a move with me kind of jumping around them. All right, and they're going to rush and attack me. And then next turn, they would deal 3 damage to me if I was within 1 of a tornado, then retreat directly away from me. And then they'd resolve their special ability and teleport to the farthest away tornado. We're not going to let that happen. But I did take 2 damage from their attack, and damage does carry over until you get an effect that lets you heal it. So I need to find a Poke Hospital or whatever to heal away the damage, but my Emberling is a little bit hurt. But they are about to be a lot hurt, because I'm going to use double strike. So I'm going to attack. I'm getting 2 elemental markers, so I've got 4 total, and I'll spend those 2 to attack again. So that's 10 damage total, which gets us to 22, easily exceeding their 18. So they are defeated. But don't worry, they're not dead. They're just knocked back for a second. And we're going to flip this card, and because we won, we'll read script 26. The wind creature stops fighting, and you use that occasion to approach it and place your hand on its semi-corporeal arm. It looks into your eyes and lets out a poignant wail. It suddenly cowers in shame and rushes behind the turbine, wedging its flexible body into a dark crevice. It seems the crisis is averted for now. Okay, so now I get to study this creature. I'll show you that in a second. And then I'm going to unlock a new card, again going to the deck construction aspect. I'm going to get Shoot Forward action card. And this one is Move, Move, Move. And it has no element, because some cards will be like fire or air, and then only those types of creatures can use them. So in this case, I can take out a card from my deck and replace it with that Shoot Forward card, except I can't get rid of the ones that say Emberling in the upper right. Those are specific to my creature and must always be in my deck. So Leap is a purely movement-based card, and Shoot Forward is a, in my opinion, better purely movement-based card, and they're both neutral, no elements, so I'm going to take Leap out. It'll go in my unlocked cards spot for deck construction later, and Shoot Forward will now be my card. So you always have 10 cards for each creature. Both your creature and you are panting heavily. The Wind Razor is fast, and keeping up with it takes a toll on your weary bodies. You should be enjoying an evening meal now, not fighting your proteges. You finally have time to look around. Despite some scared people and the creatures slowly calming down, there are only a few visible consequences of the tremor. A wall of one building crumbled, one of the machines grinds unpleasantly, and several flower pots fell from windowsills. It's time to make sure that everything is alright. You spot two rangers helping an older man to his feet and approach them. You often join forces with the rangers, whose job is to protect Cairburg from dangerous creatures in the area. Together you decide what to do next. They'll make a quick reconnaissance around the city to check if the quake was caused by creatures. Your job will be to make sure that everyone in this quarter is safe and the technology isn't in danger. You'll meet at the Shaded Tavern in an hour. You bid a short farewell and set off. Okay, so we clear up the arena. We're going to get 1 fatigue. I'll show you that, and 1 silver, money, and then we're going to go to the other main mode of gameplay, which is exploration and adventure on the map. But my Emberling is fatigued. Like the damage it suffered, this will go with it into future battles until I can get rid of it. It's just kind of a nothing card that sits blocking slots. You can choose to resolve it for your action in a turn and remove it from play completely, so it goes back to the fatigue supply, but clearly you're wasting a turn to do that, so not the best kind of card to have sitting around. And by the way, the elemental markers I built up, those also go away at the end of battle. Pretty much the only thing that carries over is damage and fatigue. Okay, so here's our first map exploration on map 1, and there's some more setup instructions. We're going to put secret card 13 here. We'll resolve that when this time token, which according to the instructions starts on 3, falls off the map, so when we've run out of time, basically. And besides that, you'll see numbers with book entries on the board, so like 3, 29, 35, 24, 12. I can go to those freely. There's no like tracking of movement. It's just kind of like a little choose your own adventure exploration mode. But many of those encounters will instruct me to decrease time. And again, when it gets down here, theoretically my time is up. I'll flip that card and resolve it. Now, additionally, you'll see some Roman numeral spots, and certain choices and things I do during the exploration will put either A or B tokens as instructed on these spots, and that will potentially change up like what happens when the secret resolves and that kind of thing. And a final note, the instructions said that there are hidden numbers sometimes, and it's hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in the video to show you this. But right here it says 13, so I could also resolve that hidden number if I wanted to. But let's not do that one first. Let's do a more basic one. Now, I'm supposed to be checking if people are okay, and I see up at 24, that looks like the Wind Razor, so I do want to check on them in a second. But first, this area looks a little like broken and run down. Let's read entries 3 and see what's going on there. Okay, we don't have token A in slot 1 or B in slot 1. So we read, you cringe when you hear the scraping sounds coming from the cog that tremble as they spin. You inspect the machine and wonder where the engineer responsible for this area is. Maybe there are other places needing their help? Assumptions aside, this place needs maintenance. You've learned something about the technology and you think you can give it a go. Or turn it off. Okay, so we can try to repair the machine. We can turn off the machine. It won't get damage if it's not working. Gain an item. Let's try to repair it. Okay, if you have a specialist toolbox, you may discard it during this check to add or subtract 1 from your check value. Okay, perform a test and check the result below. All right, so we're going to go into tests, which is something you resolve during exploration. And it says here for each pair of these little moon eclipse symbols, you get, at the end of the test, I'm going to get 1 red. I guess that's damage on one of my creatures, which in this case will just be my Emberling. But here's the main part of the test. So I want to get a 5 or less. It took some time, but the machine is working again. 6, repairing the machine proved to be an easy task. So either way, I would go to script 25, but here I would use a time in there. I wouldn't. With 7, you repair the machine and found some lost coins, 1 silver, and go to script 25. With 8 or more, somehow you made the situation worse. The machine is completely broken. We don't want that. So this is a push your luck mechanic, these tests, which uses the basic item deck, but all you're paying attention to are these values in the upper right, which will have numbers and those eclipse symbols. Looks like the values are 1 through 3 with 0, 1, 4 hanging out in there. And so you can push your luck as often as you want. Here, if I stop with a 5 or less, I'll just waste some time. I'd love to get to that 6 or 7, but not overshoot to the 8. So let's see how we go. Okay, 1 in eclipse. It's not great. I could just stop right now because only the pairs of eclipse will hurt my creature, but I figure I'll be able to heal later. Oh, geez, 2 in an eclipse. So that's a 3. I'm trying to get a 6 or a 7. Let's go again. It's a lot of eclipses. Okay, that's a 4. There's only a single 4 in the deck, so I'm pretty safe from that 8 or more right now. Okay, that's a 5. So right now a 3 or a 4 would do me in. Oh, let's try it. Okay, perfect. A 6. So we will stop there. We did have one complete pair of eclipses, so that's going to do 1 damage to my Emberling. He's at 3. But because we got exactly 6, repairing the machine proved to be a rather easy task. We'll go to script 25 without losing time. Now, we're not getting a silver, but I definitely want to risk breaking the whole thing. When you finish leveling and adjusting some shafts and gears, you hear a surprise shout. Stop, you might damage it! As you turn around, you see a woman in overalls. That was definitely a woman's voice, Mike. A toolbox in her hand. She recognizes you and lets out a sigh of relief. Oh, hello, Tamer. I thought you were an overly eager citizen. Thanks for your help here. Let me see. She pushes past you and examines your work. She nods, satisfied. Great job. Sorry that you had to take care of it. I panicked when the quake struck and ran to see if my family was safe. Fortunately, nothing happened. Thanks again. I have much more work to do. There's a lot of tiny damage all around, which can eventually lead to a full-scale malfunction. All right, so we do lose a time after all, which means we would have lost 2 if we had done the test poorly. We get token A in slot 1 to show the machine is working. We gain secret card 5, and we gain 1 item. Nice. And we got our red berries. During combat, I can trash this to add 1 value to my attack. Well, that's not too exciting, but it's something. Oh my gosh, local hero! You've helped the local community. Your deed will be remembered. Really? I just fixed a thing for like 2 seconds. Good job, B. So I get the A here to show my success. I do lose 1 time. All right, let's go. I think I want to do the secret one and then check on the wind creature. So let's go to 13. Token B is in slot 6. You've already searched this area. Nope. Okay, you walk by the collapsed wall of an alchemical study. Poor Olin. You hope he has enough savings to rebuild it. When you briefly look inside to see if anyone is trapped beneath the rubble, you wince at many broken vials and beakers on the floor. The shards are drenched with multicolored substances. It doesn't seem safe. Before it completely collapses, you should check if there's something worth saving. Okay, place token B in slot 6. And then, oh my gosh, for each eclipse, I get a time? Okay, so with 5 or less, you find a glass bottle with a vivid substance, must belong to Olin. That'll be a time as well, gain secret card 2. With a 6, you find a glass bottle with a vivid substance. Oh, okay, so that's just without losing the time. And for a 7, you also get an item, and then 8 is too much. But yeah, I don't want to get the eclipses, so I don't know. Let's go for it. Ooh, it's a 3 by itself. Should I go 1 more time and try to get the 6 or the 7? I did get a lot of eclipses last. Oh, yes. Okay, 4. So what is that? You find a glass. That was the best one. Freaking awesome. So I think the rules say you discard them. I didn't see you reshuffling them. If I'm right about that, that means that I had the knowledge that there were a bunch of eclipses already out. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But either way, worked in my favor this time. So I get a free item. Hobnails. During combat, discarded when you move to add 1. Okay, so these are pretty basic. Hey, but I got an Eclipse out of the deck. All right, then secret card 2. Healing Extract. Ooh, discard any time to heal 4. That seems pretty good. And then I don't lose any time? Is that right? See, I didn't do that, and that's awesome. Okay. But the B is here, so I can't search there anymore. All right, let's check on the wind creature. The Wind Razor peeks from its hiding place, visibly calmer now. It scans its surroundings uneasily, but also glances at the turbines as if to make sure that the wind flows through them. A group of engineers is repairing some damage done to the machines, but everything seems fine thanks to your previous intervention. You don't even want to imagine what could have happened if all the gears had stopped. Choose one. Let your creature spend some time with the Wind Razor. Oh, I could get some elemental markers for next combat, but for a whole time, or just leave? I'm just going to leave. You got places to be, people. So what's left? 29... 35, 12. Let's try, I don't know, 35. The air is always cooler inside the thick walls of the library. The librarian, Slade, greets you with a bored smile and returns to sorting the books that lie scattered on the ground. Inside the reading room, a young man, Alvin, sits silently in a corner and is shaking a little. He looks up from time to time, avoiding eye contact. Okay, if I had a token, I could read about earth creatures. Let's talk to Alvin. We're supposed to be making people calm and checking on them, right? As you approach the lad, you notice bruises on his hands and the side of his face. When you open your mouth, he just shakes his head and says, "Don't say anything, please. I was training with the Luminesca this morning, trying some more complicated techniques. No, please don't say anything. I know it didn't end well, just like you said before, Tamer. I'll listen to you from now on, I promise. Luminesca is fine. I see the question forming on your lips. Leave me alone. I'm ashamed, all right?" You've heard such a promise from him at least half a dozen times already. You're sure he will do something stupid again, but it's good to know that he didn't hurt himself much. So we do lose a time and go to 35. Oh, which is the same thing again. I want to check out the other location, so I'm not going to do the librarian or the books, because I am out of time. Although you always finish the current exploration until it says the script ends, so you could spend like 3 or 4 time at the last place you go to, and I don't think it'll actually change anything. But yeah, let's the tavern, or that's like the main gate. It looks like I didn't even see that one. And then 29. Let's go to 29. You smile as you walk beneath the signboard with a painted pouch filled with coins and hazelnuts. You've always liked this place. You can buy various useful bits and bobs. The storekeeper, Hazel, looks at you from under her permanently frowned brows and says in a surprisingly warm tone, "Welcome, Tamer. Do you need something, love?" Everything seems normal at first sight, but you notice her hands trembling. Okay, I can buy some equipment, discard my 1 silver, I only have 1, draw 3 items, gain 1, discard the rest. Buy a toolbox, if that's cool. Buy a lantern. Okay, I'll buy a lantern. If it's an option, it must be useful at some point, right? Cast a strong, warm light. I bet it does. But then let's speak with Hazel. There is no token in slot 3. How you doing there, Hazel? Okay, if token B's in slot 4, token A, I don't have anything in slot 4. Actually, I could use your help. No, don't look so scared. It has nothing to do with that scary tremor. But if you happen to visit the library, please retrieve my medallion from Slade the librarian who tricked me into selling it to him for naught. He's studying it with all of his books as if it was something really precious. I can't stand losing money, even if indirectly. Hazel speaks much faster in the end, visibly perplexed. You can tell that her merchant pride was hurt. But should you really help her right now? There are more important things going on than trivial favors. Okay, so I get A on slot 3. You know what? Let's go check the library. I'm curious about this. Slot 3 is empty. Slade's busy right now. Okay. If you have token B in slot 3, nope. Hazel, that sly hag. Geez, Slade. Of course she sent you, the only person I'm fond of. I won't fall for it this time. The medallion's fascinating. I cannot simply give it back to her because she didn't realize its value. Well, you started this conversation. You might as well try to convince him. Okay, so I'm going to lose a time for each pair of things. I'm going to lose a time for convincing him. So yeah, unless I get really lucky and can get to a 6 or a 7 without losing any time, I'll be out of time anyway, so I might as well go for a good result. Yeah, so a 1 and an Eclipse, not necessarily the best. Okay, there we go. So we're already done, so we might as well try to get the 6 or 7, just not go to the 8. A 6. Okay, so we'll stop there. You convince Slade to return the medallion, but I'm losing my last time because of the pair. Slade sighs. You may take the medallion. It lies in the reading room on a table with 2 blue books. Just remind the woman that she owes me. You quickly find the books in the medallion wedged between the pages of one of them. It's a little strange. It has symbols representing 5 elements, all but darkness. Darkness isn't popular, yes, and there are many superstitions connected to it. But when an artist represents all elements, they don't omit darkness. Strange. The books are about archaeological findings from the desert far in the north. Something about an ancient temple. You don't have the time to read it now, though. So I discard token A from slot 3. I place token A on slot 4. Oh man, I'm not going to have time to go back to Hazel. I get the ancient medallion, I lose another time, and the script ends. Okay, so there's that, and we are out of time. Let's see what this says. An hour has passed. If token A is in slot 2 or 5, go to script 76. No, and no. So instead we go to script 75. An hour has passed, and the Rangers should be back in the city. You agree to meet them in the Shaded Tavern. Okay, place secret card 13, the secret you just drew, face down in the event slot. Set the time marker to 3. You don't have much time. Oh, cool, I'm not done yet. Place token A in slot 2. The Rangers await you in the tavern. Okay, excellent. Let's go give Hazel back her thing. Hazel asks if you managed to recover her lost trinket. Live, you're still working on it. No, we'll give it to her. You place the medallion on the counter. Hazel's eyes glint under her thick brows. Thank you, Tamer. What a wonderful person you are. She grabs your hand and squeezes it tightly. If you find anything you like, I can buy it for some nice coin. The boy that brought this one to me said he found it in a strange cave he fell into. He was from Phaeton? Probably there, yes. As a token of my gratitude, have some coins. Or maybe you want some tools? They may come in handy when our city is having a hard time. Oh man, we lose the time just giving her the thing? Okay, gain secret card 101, the toolbox. Oh, and the lantern? If I already have them, I can't choose that? Okay, I'll just take 2 silver. I don't want to buy anything from you, Hazel, anyway. Okay, so that leaves me with 2 time, and the only place, unless there's secrets I haven't seen and I haven't been, is the gate before I go to the tavern, so let's check that. The gate is open. A road snakes from it and down the slope, leading into the dense forest below, and reappearing among the fields and natural glades. As you look farther, you see some hills, a wide, slow river, and several picturesque lakes. Your imagination adds creatures to each scene, making you smile. Alright, I can set off if there's a token A in 5. There's not. Or I can stay in Careburg. Okay, that was nothing. Alright, so I have 2 time left. I'm going to go back to 24. Let's just say I did this. Have my animal hang out with the guy. So that's going to take 1 time for the Windraiser to give me 2 elemental tokens for the next fight. And then with 1 left, since I imagine time will advance here anyway, I'll go to 12. When you enter the tavern, you are always amazed by the cool breeze wafting through. The innkeeper placed some fans on the ceiling and cleverly connected them to the stoves in the kitchen. You approach the bar, feeling the patrons' gaze on your back, and their whispers stroke your ego. What? They know that the Windraiser and machines are safe because of you. That's right, I'm the local hero. Olin, the local alchemist, sits by a table, face hidden in hand. If you remember correctly, his workshop is somewhere nearby. Look, take a rest, heal 2 or discard 1 fatigue, but it costs 1 time and the script ends. Which means, if I had not gone to train with the person, I could have done that. Oh well. Okay, speak with the people and accept their thanks. Go to script 15, speak with the rangers. Go to script 18, approach Olin. I don't want any of these to end, but let me go ahead and accept the people's thanks. You sit next to a glassblower and his apprentice. The space fills quickly with more people interested in your story. You tell more about the encounter with the Windraiser and your current findings about what could happen to the city. They listen to you enchanted and give you something in return for your help. A woman mentions seeing an alchemical study with a collapsed wall. She hasn't seen anyone inside, but it might be worth checking to see if anyone's trapped there. Yeah, we already took care of that. Oh, time will advance and the script ends, but we got hobnails to move to. But yeah, whoopsie. This time there is tokens. We're going to 76. The Ember Sun hides behind the city walls. Many shops and buildings have closed for the day. Okay, discard Secret 13, gain Secret 14 and place it on the map. Place Secret Card 15 face down in the event slots at the time marker to 2. You'll have to leave the city soon. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm getting it quite right. Come on. This card slots over the library, so it's closed. But yeah, I don't think the spacing is quite right in the prototype. And 15's waiting for me. I only have 2 time. Let me talk to the dang rangers. Finally, you're here. We've seen a rather large flock of Galomos wandering around the city, about a dozen of them, I would say. You know they can cause small tremors. Maybe such a large group could cause a big one? But it's your field of work, not ours, Tamer. Start looking by the glade with the tall birch. You think about it briefly. Galomos are rather peaceful creatures. They can fight, but mainly in self-defense. You must investigate this, however. When you finish your errands in the city, you should head toward the city gate. Okay, discard token A, place token A in slot 5, and we lose 1 time, which means we've only got 1. So, I don't think I'm going to ask him about details. I'm just going to go. I mean, I don't know if it would just make me go to 10 automatically, so if I'm like wasting the chance to spend 1 time. So just to be safe, let's head to the gate right now. Alright, here we go. We're discarding the secret card, closing the map. You exit the city, heading toward the glade pointed out by the rangers. The ground has been trampled by heavy, stumpy feet, but the tracks disappear in a scattered pile of decayed leaves. 3 paths lead north. Each of them could accommodate the dozen Galomas mentioned by your colleagues. Alright, do I have secret card 1? No. Follow the fissured pass, pass with disturbed moss, the muddy path. Fissured sounds like more like earth creatures have been through there, right? The longer you tread the fissured path, the more often you think that this was a mistake. The cracks seem old. The only fresh one is quite large, but it starts in the opposite direction, so it wasn't made by Galomas. When you're about to turn back, your path intersects with the mossy one, and finally you see Galoma's tracks, stumpy footprints on damp ground. Okay, if token A is in front of you, flip it to side B, otherwise place token A in front of you. You're straying in the forest. So no map this time, that's fine. The forest grows thin and you see a well-known hill before you. You stop in your tracks, your mouth agape. The hillside is split in half by a gaping wound, through which you can see an unnatural interior carved in stone. The group of Galomas are squeezing through the gap, entering the mysterious ruins. From a distance, they look like a line of clumsy ants. Intrigued, you start approaching the hill through a bramble grove. Yeah, that don't seem natural. That's a little bit concerning. Alright, when you draw an Eclipse, you must draw the next card or gain 1 damage. We take a damage if we do a 5, 6 to 8, 45, 9. We get a thing in front of us. And 10, we slip and fall in the mud. Okay. We go. 2 with no Eclipse. Nice. 3. Try to get to 6 to 8. 6? Wow, and no Eclipse. We did great. So we get closer. Go to script 45. I mean, yeah, I don't know how important that is. We'll ignore that for now. You hear a cracking sound from behind you. A Galoma, which now emerges from the thick brambles, must have stayed behind to guard the entrance and keep its friends safe. The ground under your feet starts trembling, and suddenly you know that you must prepare for a fight! Alright, back to combat. Alright, so my Emberling is the same as last time you saw him. He's got 3 damage and 2 tokens to start. The arena this time has tokens in these little bag spaces. Those are berries. Whenever I move into a space with a berry, I discard it and heal 2. And when an enemy moves into it, nothing happens. And then the Galoma's got a bit more going on. Let's check this all out. Ton of life, 24. Only 2 attack and only 1 move. Wow. Passive, he has +2 defense for each quake in range 1 from it. And this symbol has him attack, rush +2, so he'll move 3 and attack. That one has him put a quake in range 2, attack and then rush. And this one has him rush and then attack and then put a quake in range 1. And then special ability, I'll gain 3 damage for each quake within 2 range of me. And special rules, whenever I place quakes, it's in the space closest to me, including the space I'm in. There can only be 1 quake per space. And if all 5 quakes are on the board, we take the one farthest away and place it closer. Okay, and finally, this time we can tame him, which you know we're going to have to do. So we have to do these in order. It's like a little mini quest puzzle to solve. So first we have to tire it out so it has at least 19 damage out of 24. Then we have to lure it into the mud, so we have to end its turn in an exclamation point. And then we have to show our power, use our special ability in a space with a quake, and we can decide not to deal damage with that special ability. And then even if he was defeated after that, if we have completed the 3rd quest or like task in the same turn, we still get him. And by the way, I think this is him, unless I got like his upgraded version, because this one has a leaf hat. Whoops, yes, maybe that's his bro, because this, I think, is the actual Golomo. All right, so I got to do a ton of damage, ideally quickly, before he can defend himself. Because his first action is going to be to move toward me 1, then attack me, and then put a Quake token range 1 from himself, which is going to give him defense. Although, let's see, Lava Lash deals damage, no defense worry. Flaming Bite deals damage, attacks, no defense worry. So Double Strike's the only one that is like a regular attack where defense would matter. I do have 2 tokens to attack again, but I'm not next to him to move for that yet. I have these hobnails, but they only make me move farther when I move. They don't let me move for nothing. Now, an interesting option is this channeling. It'll get me 2 tokens, and then I gain another token, and then if this card is in the 3rd slot, I gain 2 more tokens. So I would get 5 total from using that, which would be almost enough to use my Fire Nova, but I want to wait until he's ready to be tamed to do that. All right, so here's what I think I want to do. I'm going to use Lava Lash to deal 3 in range 3, and then I can discard 2 tokens to resolve another card, but I'm getting 3 tokens. So I will discard 2, and then I'll get 3. And that's going to get him for 3 out of 24. And now since I've got 3 of these, I'm going to use 1 before I resolve the second card to do a move action. I'll go 1. Oh, that's not there anymore. I'll go 1, 2, go in a berry and heal myself for 2. And then I'll pick Double Strike. So I'm getting 2, and then I can spend 2 to do a double attack instead of a single attack. So I end up with 2 tokens total. But ouch, Golomo, how you feel about that? I just did 10 more damage. So that is 13 out of the 19 to tire it out. So that was pretty awesome, although I did use up most of the elemental stuff I got. So doing my special attack at the end is going to be tough. Okay, now Golomo is going to rush, attack, and then put a Quake at range 1. So the rush doesn't have to happen. The attack is 2 more damage. I'm at 3. Then he's putting a Quake at range 1, and he wants it to be in my space if possible. So lovely. What's going to be next? Attack, rush up to 3 spaces, and then attack again. So I might want to like move away here. Or if I just did defensive stance, he wouldn't hurt me at all with both attacks. That seems pretty good. Ooh, an offensive stance would have been great with the double strike. Okay, let's try this. So yeah, I'm going to do defensive stance. So I'm getting 3 more tokens. You can hold a max of 10 per creature, by the way. So that's 5. My special ability costs 8. But I'm going to have a +2 defense for this round. The offensive stance moves up. Oh no, and I got my fatigue. Wasted a spot. But he will attack me for 2 damage. -2 is 0. Try to rush toward me. He's already there. Attack me again for 0. Remember, the green just adds to his defense. Does not add any to mine. Although maybe I should have moved away to like lure him away from that. Okay, next turn he's going to do this, which is putting a Quake in range 2 and then attacking and then rushing. That's interesting. So he would attack first. If I'm not in range 1, he won't get me. And then his special ability would be 3 damage for each Quake in range 2 from me. So if I run really far away, then he won't be able to get a Quake close to me, or I at least don't want to be hit twice by that special ability. All right, so let's see. So I got to do 6 more damage to him to trigger his first thing. Where was it? I can use, my red berries will give me 1 more damage, so I just need to do a regular attack. Now he does have +2 defense, but if I use Flaming Bite, then that won't matter. So yeah, this is the play, I think. I'm going to use Flaming Bite. I can move and then attack, ignoring guard. And the move, I think I'm going to use some other stuff to move again in a second. So I'll just move here for now. I'm going to attack with this. That's 6, which gets him to exactly 19. So I mark the tired out has been fulfilled. Now I got to lure him into mud, which I can do this turn, actually. I'll show you. And then I got to show my power and get enough to use my special. So yeah, I am going to use 1 token and do a move action, which I can do with my bonus actions to remind you. I'm going to move here. That'll heal me 2. Now he is going to get me with the Quake in a second. But then when he rushes me, he's going to go onto the mud, and I'll fulfill the second part of his capture requirement. So yeah, I'll stop there, and now I basically just want to get enough tokens to do my special next turn, which I think the channeling will allow me to do. But first, let's resolve his stuff. So he's putting a Quake in range 2, then attacking, and then rushing. I'm sorry, I just remembered these are supposed to be face down, so you have to kind of remember a little bit what they've done. Okay, so Quake in range 2, that's going to be my space, his preference. Attack, he can't. Rush, whoops. He just ended his space in an exclamation point, so all I have to do is use my special ability. Oh, when I'm in a space with Quake, which I currently am, this is like perfection all. But now, because he's on his special ability spot, I'm going to gain 3 damage for each Quake in range 2 of me, which is the one just on my space, which puts a little MB up to 4 damage. Thank God for healing herbs. And then, whenever the special ability goes off, you discard all of the cards in the enemy attack, just to begin the countdown to it again. But we got pretty lucky here. We don't have to waste any more time. We are channeling. We're getting 3 for the slot, plus just 1 for channeling because it's not in the 3rd slot, which gets us all the way up to 8. I guess I could slow play to like do a fatigue. So all he's going to do is attack me, but let's just finish this up. So, Fire Nova! I've got 8 to spend, and I am indeed on a Quake. I laugh at your Earthquake, sir. So, I don't have to do the 7 damage, not that it would matter either way, because I immediately end the battle, and I'm going to see what happens when I catch him. Alright, so I tamed him. Go to script 34. The Goloma stares at you. There is no anger in its eyes, only admiration. You stop your creature from taking any action and start speaking to Goloma in a calm voice. The words don't matter. The secret lies in the tone and the steady, unflinching eye contact. You approach the wild creature. Okay, I get a little token in front of me. You extend your hand toward the Goloma and continue speaking in a low, relaxed voice. You're not its enemy, and it should feel that. It allows you to touch its rough, moss-covered skin. You make it feel that there is no need to be afraid. You are not here to hurt its friends. You just want to make sure that your friends are safe, too. The Goloma stumbles forward, placing its hand on your knee, a first sign of trust. Now you are sure you will get along well. You feel a connection with the earth creature as if your hearts were tied up with a silver string that conveys emotions. Right now, the Goloma is calming down, the remains of stress dissipating in a pleasant feeling of a new beginning. And so here we go. There are not many other creatures as reclusive as Goloma, who can be found only in deep woods and deep valleys. However, when in stress, they can go on a rampage, attacking everything in sight and using their connection to Earth to cause small-scale earthquakes. And now we get some specific Goloma cards. Let's see what they can do. Earth Shield. Put a Quake in range 1. And then for, while it's on my discard pile, +2 for each Quake in range 1. Okay, so, yeah, I figured that the the player versions of the cards wouldn't be quite as powerful. So that kind of confirms that. Okay, Stone Roll, move +2 and then attack. And passive +2. Oh, okay, so both of these will have you gain the defense from Quakes. And finally, Soil Feed. Place a Quake in range 2 and then gain an Elemental token for each Quake in range 2. Nice. Look like he's got a quest too. Goloma must commune with its kind in a mysterious ritual taking place in an underground location. Rumors say that some Golomos return changed forever. Ooh, are these like how they upgrade or level up? Special abilities. So for 2 we can Trump, place a Quake. Oh, that's nice. So we have consistent Quake placement. And then Tremors. Each opponent gains 3 for each Quake in range 2 from them, just like his special ability. Awesome. You gaze at the gaping wound in the hill. How long have the ruins been hiding in there? Caerberg was founded about 600 years ago, and there is no mention of such construction in any book or story. You imagine knowledge, treasures, and secrets hidden inside and smile. But then you notice the Goloma by your side and think about the other earth creatures hiding, the potential source of the tremor that struck the city earlier. You are mainly here to check what caused the quake and, if possible, to prevent other dangers from happening. You take a step forward and enter. As you go, rocks and soil give way to a tiled floor, and plastered walls replace stone formations. You look around a large room built in a style you've never seen before. The dim sunshine coming from behind you casts more shadows than light. Suddenly you hear a rumble behind you and the floor shakes. You jump forward to protect your creatures and save your own skin. When the dust settles, you notice that the path is blocked. The hill is still shaking slightly. You must find a way out and maybe investigate those ruins a little. Curiosity killed the cat, right? So we're going to get map 2. We're going to place a token A in slot 1 because the Tamed Golomo seems eager to help you. Awesome. Okay, we have a secret card. We have 3 time. And we do have token A in front of us, so we're going to lose the time because we wasted time in the forest. Oh well. Alrighty, so what have we got? We got 71, that looks like the exit. 37, some kind of like just rubble-strewn structure there. 51, I can't really see what that is. 65, a staircase leading up. 49, oh, there seem to be like a bunch of those other Golomos like worshipping it. Then 46, some other door that is not covered in rubble. I mean, that looks like it's just the exit, so I'm not going to go there. Let's check out these guys. Several Golomos crowd around stones overgrown with moss and vines. These are the only plants in the entire ruin, strangely lush despite the lack of light. The Golomos are enchanted by the stones, but some of them turn toward you. They aren't hostile, but obviously they don't want you around here. Let's study the rocks. You observe the stones from a safe distance. They shine lightly when touched by Golomos, so they seem to react to the earth element. When the ground trembles, they also vibrate, similarly to tuning forks. Could they amplify the quake? When the vibrations are stronger, the Golomos also shake to the frequency. Huh. So that's 1 time down. I could go back and check the Golomos, but let's see what's at 37 first. The wall with ancient faded frescoes is partially covered with debris. You see a group of silhouettes with wings or something resembling them. Some of them wield weapons, maybe, or something else entirely, you cannot tell. There's a full moon in the sky surrounded by constellations well known to you. Okay, we lose 1 time, but that's going to be the end of our time anyway, so we might as well go to script 66. Yeah, and time won't matter here, so if token A is in slot 1, the Tamed Golomo wants to help. Once during the test, you may discard a card with an eclipse after you draw it. That's cool. Okay, before perform the test and check the result below. Alright, oh, but for each pair of these, you gain 1 fatigue. That's terrible. Okay, you cleared out a path, but not enough. You cleared out the debris. So difference is you get secret 2 if I get to 6 or 7. Okay, so let's try to get to that. 2, it's a good start. No eclipse. 1, that's nice. That's 3. All right, come on. 4 and an eclipse. Could discard after I draw. Yeah, I'm going to discard that because that wasn't even like a high value. Ooh, 6. That's it, right? You cleared out the debris. So we'll gain a time, but I already gained max time. I get 1 item and I get secret 7. I get a rope. Ooh, during a check, discard to add or subtract 2 from your check. That's pretty nice. Ooh, and look what the secret is. We have actually shown the entire fresco. Very nice. But we have to resolve this first. The ruins shake in a sudden tremor. Go to script 55. Uh-oh. Okay, if token B is in slot 5, this seems like another one where I'm going to get like multiple rounds. Otherwise, the ground shakes. Dust and pebbles fall on your head. One more quake and the ceiling will collapse. Jeez. Place a token B in slot 5 and place secret card 16. Face down. Okay. Set the time marker to 3. We get 3 this time, but we need to get moving, y'all. All right, so let's investigate the newly revealed fresco. The rest of the painting shows, wait, where's the second moon? The sky is detailed, even if faded, and there's no way the artist forgot to include the second most important part of the night sky. It's a mystery for another time. What is this, Earth instead of their planet? There are crystals similar to those in these ruins under the moon. A group of Earth creatures stands around the stones, which are shining with a bright green light. A tall figure stands by them and touches 2 of the tallest crystals with their hands. Maybe if you do the same, they will also react? From behind, a silhouette wearing armor with rectangular patterns emerges from a black, distinctive line smeared onto the fresco. They're headed for the stones with a weapon in one hand and a leash in the other. A monstrous, dark creature is tied to the leash. Okay, ooh, we place token A in slot 4 if it's not there already. You have an idea how to interact with the stones surrounded by galomas. Alright, so let's not bury the lead here. Let's get right back to that, and then if we have time left, we can investigate other things. The galomas are enchanted by the crystals. You think if you place your hands on the stones and they awake, as in the fresco, you may get the galomas' attention. Okay, I'm going to manipulate the crystals. Maybe the galomas will help you dig up the exit. Go to script 44. Galomos growl when you approach the stones, but don't attack. You touch the tallest rocks, and the whole formation explodes in a flash of bright green light. The galomos, startled, stumble backwards. Some of them run toward the exit. You hear their strange sounds followed by noises of digging. It pains you that you've scared the creatures, but you now have a way out, and they have it too in case the ruins collapse. Nice, and now we've got our exit, but we've got 3 time left. None of these have taken time yet, so let's check out the door, right? That seems most important. You're unsure what the object before you is, but it evokes the impression of a shrine or an altar. 5 of the 6 elements are depicted there. Fire, air, earth, and water are placed in a circle, and light is inside. Next to it, there's a sketch of a similar relief, but this time there's also darkness depicted inside the circle. Oh, man. That's the medallion I used to have, but it won't let me read it. Now I still saw the medallion. Oh man, what if I could have put it in there? Well, whatever. Choose your own adventure sometimes means choose what you miss out on. If token B's in slot 3, no. There are also some translucent, weathered figurines on the altar, each of them emanating a dim light. There's a strange touch to this. You can see pulsating darkness in the core of those statuettes. You feel uneasy when you look at them, because we're going to lose a time. Take the figurines with you? Sure. Okay. Translucent figurine. Okay, so I did lose a time. Should I investigate anything else? I only really have that and that, right? Let's see what 51 is. Okay, if there's a token in slot, nope. You're inside a dark room surrounded by half-collapsed walls. Almost no light reaches this place, but you can discern shapes similar to short shelves or maybe chests. Oh, crud. Search the room. Gonna take some time. We'll try it. Okay, 47. Oh, if you have a lantern, you may discard it during this check. I thought it might help to add or subtract 1 from your check value. And I have the rope for 2. So yeah, if I'm going to run out of time, then I might be okay. Oh, but for each pair, I gain a time. So I need to get the 6 and 7 again to not get an earthquake. Oh, a 3 is first. Now, I've gone through the entire deck now. Again, I'm not sure, there's still prototype rules and everything. So maybe they wanted me to shuffle after each check. I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to shuffle now. So at this point, I already, with my rope and or my lantern, could get to 6 or 7. Yes, I think I'm going to stop there because I don't want to pair. So 4, and I'll use the rope. Ooh, and if I get to 7, I get a key. I'm going to use the rope and the lantern. So that's going to get me to, you find several ancient trinkets and a twisted piece of metal that resembles a key. You take it with you. Maybe if you search the ruins thoroughly, you'll find the lock that opens. So I gain a silver. That's my 3rd. I gain an item. Balachi Nuts. Oh, okay, you get 1 defense when the enemy attacks. That's cool. And then I get a token in slot 6. Alright, darn it. Is there a hidden number? I'm going to look closely and see if I can find one, y'all. Ooh, there we go. It says 56. Okay. Haha, yes. You spot a rectangular shape in the darkness, which appears to be a strange door carved in the stone wall. You try to open it, but without success. When you feel the surface with your hand, you find a keyhole. 60. The door gives way under your touch when you turn the key found in the nearby dark room. You stand in a tiny chamber with a pedestal in the center. There are faded frescoes around you depicting silhouettes and blurry creatures working together on something unintelligible. There's another exit from this room, a tight corridor from which you can feel a gentle breeze. A way out? And I gain secret card 6 if I don't already have it. Ooh, elemental orb. Anytime trash, you gain 4 element tokens. Nice. Okay, so I can follow the corridor. It might lead outside. Or search the alcove, gain an item and a silver, and lose the time. No. Should I go out this way or the other way? You know what? I want to go with the Galomos. I feel like that's like the nicer ending here. So I'm going to end the script and leave with them. You see the dark sky, both moons emerging from behind the trees. The Galomos unearth the exit using their earth affinity and sheer strength. Are you ready to go home now? It's unsure when you'll be able to return to this fascinating place. On the other hand, it may collapse soon. Yeah, I'm going to leave. You follow the path dug by startled Galomos, getting secret 11. Okay, cool. So I was right. It does kind of like track how you did it. Helpful Galomos. Awesome. When you take a deep breath and savor the chilly night, that smell of pines and wet grass, the ground shakes again. An ear-splitting sound rends the air. It feels like the whole world is snapped in half. You look toward Kerberg, fearing for the city, and you freeze when you see lights on the walls go out or fall to the ground. You cannot see much. You are much too far, but you imagine the worst. You quickly check if your creatures are alright and decide to move on. Then the stars and moons disappear, confusing and scaring you even more. When the stars reappear, you realize that it was a large silhouette that obscured the sky. You can only think of one creature large enough, a dragon. You are not sure if that makes you feel calmer or even more terrified, but also a little excited. All right, congratulations, you've reached the end of this scenario. Store your creatures, action cards, and gained items and secrets in the save compartment. Store the rest of the components in the respective compartments and gain access to scenario 2. All right, so we'll stop there. Let's get to me giving some thoughts on the gameplay and what I'm thinking of Dragon Eclipse so far. So first of all, these little explorations, these are pretty cool. They remind me a bit of, some other games I've played in the last several years, like Agamonia a little bit with the cards overlaying. It also reminds me a bit of Artisans of Splendid Vale, although you don't have to crack open giant books as much for this one. So yeah, I like this. There are choices to be made. It seems like they, so far at least, give you enough time to see like most of the stuff, so I didn't feel like super like I missed out. This is the tutorial, of course. But yeah, I like the fact that you get to see a lot of things. I guess that's maybe potentially less replay value, but whatever. The writing also seems fun so far. The world building seems interesting. I certainly want to find out what's going on. There's definitely a lot more story than most Pokemon-ish games I'm used to. And the test mechanic, I think it's kind of fun. I mean, clearly there's some luck there, but I tend to like push your luck things, and you saw you can get items and things that will mitigate the luck somewhat. Now I don't know I'm guessing if I had stayed another round, then I don't think the earthquake would have actually killed me. That seems too punishing. I'm guessing I probably just would have taken a little bit of damage. So far losing some time doesn't seem to be the end of the world, and bad luck with the draws shouldn't be too punishing. And then yeah, I love this, y'all. So this game is a lot like one that I covered, Robomon. And it is worth mentioning that they're kind of doing similar things, like unlocking creatures, putting them into little things as you learn more about them, having exploration stuff. Although Robomon, if you go back and watch my video, was much, much, much more trying to be like a video game where you're kind of open world exploring. You can go in a lot of directions, and it's much more open. Maybe this one will become the same way as you get into later chapters, but it does seem a bit more linear. And I won't say that's better or worse. I think both Robomon and this have fun stuff going on with the exploration, and actually, a lot of similarities. It is funny that both these kind of Pokemon-ish games are coming out so close to each other. And then both this and Robomon have arena battles. And, forget about Robomon for a second. Let's just focus on Dragon Eclipse. I found this a lot of fun. I think it's got some cool mechanics going on. I certainly want to see the later fights where you have multiple people attacking. But the minor deck construction, it'll get to be more and more, of course, as you go. I think right at the start of Chapter 2, you get a whole second set of basic cards. And then, as you unlock more things like super fire cards and stuff, your people should level up. It seems like the mini quests are going to give you ways to level up too. So I don't think deck construction will be onerous. You're only making 10 cards for creature. It doesn't seem like you have to change it very often, but it should be fun to kind of build your combos. The arena movement wasn't incredibly impactful yet, but I do like how you can see what the enemy is going to do. You can see like what their range and movement are. They're putting terrain pieces around the board, and then clearly from some people like the Galomo I just unlocked, that's going to matter even more, like as I put down my own tokens. So it seems pretty streamlined on the enemy side. I love that you can see what's going to happen with them. I like that they have their own special attacks and stuff. So yeah, these kind of arena battles can often be a little bit too static, but it feels like this one will have just enough movement to keep it interesting, again, especially when you like maybe have a 2-on-2 fight going. And then as for this mechanic, I think it's great. I think Arc Nova and Civ New Dawn, I think it's called, are really cool. And this is not the same exact thing. It's not like the cards themselves are doing better actions. It's just bonuses you get for the things on the top. But putting that aside, I like the choices in the card play. I like that, you can, of course, fine tune the cards and like make them do specific things. I love this, the flexibility to move whenever you want to, if you're willing to spend for it. Flexibility to attack when you want to discard cards and draw, even though I didn't do that. I think there's some really cool tactical choices here, and the variety in your creatures and like what they can do and how far they move and how much defense they have. Like I could see like doing like a Galomo build where you have like a ton of defense for, an enemy who attacks a lot or something. It seems like there should be some fun stuff going on in deck construction and tactical combos and, building your stuff to match the enemy. And even though we only saw one of them, this is fun. Like I thought it would just be basic, Pokemon-ish thing where hurt them a lot and then throw a Pokeball at them. But I think this is way more interesting and turns like capturing the people into a little bit of a puzzle. I think it's going to make you feel a lot more accomplished when you do capture them. So I really appreciate this. I think this is a blast. And then a final thing to mention, I haven't dug into it much yet, but they have a roguelite mode they're doing where I think you can just like go around and you'll get new creatures and unlock new cards as you go. That seems amazing because this game, with the light deck construction, the leveling up your creatures, the quick combat, it is very quick. It seems to really like match the roguelite sensibility. By the way, I think this is the roguelite map. Again, I haven't played it yet, so maybe I'm just showing you something totally unrelated. But yeah, I think this is going to be amazing. I already really like the story, but the fact that you don't have to do that and you can just jump right into this mode, super, super cool. So I was pretty excited for this game, and now I am ridiculously excited. And I don't always love how many miniatures Awaken Realms puts in their things, but these guys are friggin' adorable. And I'm 100% on board with these miniatures, especially since they are super important in the actual gameplay, but they also have standees, so I'm sure that'll work fine. But yes, I was hyped for this one, and now suddenly it's definitely jumped to one of the games I'm most excited to play more of. I'm going to dig more into this, so, check out the Discord, see other thoughts I might have later on. But yeah, this one is coming out September 19th, and I cannot wait for it. Awaken Realms is just doing it for me lately. Like, I used to not love a lot of their stuff, but yeah, Kings of Ruin, this one, I thought Stalker was cool. I think this one's cooler than Stalker for my taste, but yeah, I am very into their vibe lately. So, yep, that was Dragon Eclipse. Go check out the crowdfunding page, or I think it's Game Found. In a couple of weeks, it should be up. And thanks for watching, everybody. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.